Hello, I'm MKX3K and welcome back to the video. Today I want to talk about swimming and sprinting in Minecraft because it is a brand new form of transportation that is possible as of the most recent updated Quatic for Minecraft Bedrock, soon to be coming out for Minecraft Java and Minecraft Console. And I want to talk about the most exciting thing about it because you might think that sprinting is just, swimming underwater is just a form of sprinting, but the truth is you can actually sprint and swim at the same time, and the truth is there's a bunch of other weird secrets to do with sprinting and swimming that I figured I would talk about in this video. So here is how you can swim like a pro in Minecraft and do all the weird, cool, useful stuff that you might not have realized you could. Hopefully you all enjoy the video, like if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, lets know you do like this sort of thing. But let's get straight into talking about exactly how you can swim like a pro. So first of all, I want to talk about the very basics of like how do you swim in Minecraft, because I'm sure 99% of you know this, but just in case it's not obvious, you just sprint, double tap forward or press control or whatever your button is for sprinting, but do that inside the water. So as you can see, instead of sprinting, I'm going to be swimming underwater. I look like this. It's really cool. It's quite interesting, and this also interestingly means that because it is just sprinting underwater, if you sprint and then jump into water and then don't let go of your sprint, you will actually sprint straight into a dive. So again, this is the best way to show you. As you can see, sprinting into the water and then you just start diving right into it. So that's my first little pro tip right here. If you need to go into some water and you want to travel through it as fast as you humanly can, sprint first before you go into the water and then land into it with your dive, because otherwise, again, if you just jump into the water normally and then go like this, there's a couple of seconds wasted while you double tap that sort of thing, and you might lose, your enemy, whatever you're chasing, and it's a useful little pro tip. So yeah, do the sprint into the dive. It's really useful. Speaking of sprinting into dives, an interesting thing about sprinting in water is you can actually do sprinting while at the surface of the water. Again, a lot of people don't know this because most of the time you're in water, you want to swim like this, but if you actually go to the very surface, you'll actually be sprinting inside the water. So again, it's a tricky maneuver to pull off in this update, but you can actually sprint in the water if you do things just right. And this means you'll sprint at about 30% slower than the surface speed, but it's a wonderful little thing you can do in this update to go really, really, really quite fast. But again, the motions to do it and the way you actually do it is really quite challenging, but it's the fastest way to travel through water. Even though swimming might seem faster, assuming you don't have dolphins near you or a speed potion, sprinting at the surface of the water is actually just as fast or faster in every single situation, which is odd and not something you necessarily realize. So next up, let's talk about the utility benefits of swimming versus sprinting, because again, sprinting on the water, into water, it's just a universally better way to do things. But let's talk about the fact that if you do decide to swim, either by diving in like this or by just starting under the ground, then an interesting thing about swimming is when you're swimming, you actually have a smaller block model, because your block model goes from being 1 by 2 essentially, 2 blocks tall, 1 block wide, like this, where you can fit in a 1 block wide gap, to being 2 blocks wide and 1 block deep. So this means that you can actually fit through little holes like this, as long as they're more than 1 block deep, which means if you want to go through something like under here, we can do that. Do you want to go under a little secret thing over here? Guess what? We can totally do that, and you can find secret caves like this, which is nice enough by itself, honestly, so we're going to try and get out of here before we drown to death now. It's nice enough by itself, but it also has the really rather interesting benefit of allowing you to make secret bases, which you can only access via swimming. So yeah, swimming, it's fast, it's easy to access, and it also gives you little access to secrets. Interesting enough also, by the way, while you're swimming, so if we go underwater, as you're going to see, we can swim, but while swimming, if you might think the best way to go to the water is just to go up there like this, and this is a fast way to get up, but if you need to get your air back, like I just did 20 seconds ago because I overextended myself, then the best way to do that is not to swim upwards toward the surface, so swim upwards like this, you might think, yeah, it's instead to go a little bit towards the surface and then press A at the same time, or press your jump button, because you can kind of jump or float inside the water, and you can't do this with the reverse, you can't go down inside the water, but it is worth mentioning that if you get some speed by doing this quickly, so again, if you go up to the surface like this, go as high as you can, get your breath back, you can go downwards in water much faster than you can go up. Seriously, look at the speed right here. It's pretty insane, and it's a thing you can do right there. So yeah, your speed goes a little bit down when you go up or downwards in the water, so it's best to try and go diagonally while you're doing it, but you can go down and up without really much of a penalty, and again, going down is much, much, much faster in certain situations. So if you want to go down to the surface, again, your two options are either to swim, okay, so let's go to the surface, use what I just taught you, press both at the same time, and we saved ourselves. Maybe we would have died if we hadn't have done that. So next up, let's drink this night vision potion just to show you the water a bit better, and let's talk about the next pro tip right here, which is going to be the fact that you can actually crouch in water still, and like this is, again, it's a pretty good way to get down. If you want to get down on the spot, this is what I recommend. Just press crouch in water and you can go straight down to the block you're on. However, you can't actually properly crouch inside the water in terms of like toggle effect, because so on Bedrock and Console Edition, if you're using a controller at least, the way crouch works is it's toggleable. You can toggle it on or you can toggle it off. All you have to do is, again, press the button once. So I'll show you on the surface just in case you're confused by that, because I know it's an option on PC, but a lot of people don't use it. As you can see right here, you crouch, and at the edge of the block, you can't do something. It's just turned on. I'm not pressing the button anymore. Oh my god, the baby drowned is scary. But as you can see, you know, you can crouch at the edge of blocks, but underwater, it's always going to be, again, you have to hold it to keep it on, even on the toggle options, which again, I don't know if that's a bug or intentional. Oh, that's a drowned of a trident. I think I'm going to die right here. So yeah, that's an interesting thing, that you can't, while underwater, you have to keep it all turned on. So for instance, right here, as you can see, I'm underwater, but I have to hold it down. The moment I let go, it just goes right back up. I'm not pressing something new. It's just a weird thing right there. So yeah, basically in this update, keep that in mind. Crouching underwater, it works as crouching sort of, but also you have to hold it down, so it's not so useful. And it has a lot of really weird uses, and sometimes it gets stuck down. There's a lot of things that happen that you don't necessarily desire that will happen in this update. So next up, because we're talking about swimming pro tips, let's talk about how you can get on land really easily, because a small thing they added in a recent beta that you might have missed is the ability to just climb straight onto land from the water. And it's really clunky and tricky to get done. So if you, again, like, watch out for that. But if you sprint and then go onto land, you should be able to, again, do the reverse what I just said, where you keep your sprint going onto the land, and okay, just like that, you can keep your speed going. Personally though, the way I get out of water is I just keep try to swim into the water. So again, go above the water like this, and then you can just get out, keep sprinting, and then keep going. Again, it's really going to be clunky to get onto the land. So what I personally recommend, because the fastest way of traveling underwater, you might figure it's got to be swimming, right? Because I mean, swimming is just, it's fast and stuff, but the fastest way to travel underwater is still going to be the Riptide enchantment, however, because if you have Riptide, again, I have a Riptide free trident right here, so that's getting a trident and then getting one of the slightly rare enchantments. Then all you have to do is hold this thing underwater at the surface of the water, or just out the surface, and you can go super fast, seriously. Sprinting underwater is something like 4 blocks in this update, which is, I mean, it's nice enough. It's a speed that will get you around, but if you use this trident, you can travel at much more, like 20 blocks a second. It's one of the fastest methods of transport in the game, and if it's raining, you can go way faster outside the water. But if you get this thing going just right, like I'm going to try right now, you can see how not only is it super, like appealing to look at, but it's also a really fun and fast way to get around your Minecraft world. So yeah, the fastest way to get around, even though swimming exists, it's not necessarily to swim, it's always to use a trident if you have one. If you don't have a trident, then just sprint at the top of the water. That's the fastest way to get visual distance done. But if you need to go up and down, make sure that you use, take advantage of the crouch controls, or you take advantage of the swimming up controls, because a lot of people miss that. And also, a key thing to bear in mind is that because it is a form of sprinting, you can't do it once you get to 3 hunger bars, which was the whole point of that, by the way. As you can see, no sprinting can be done with, less than 3 hunger bars, because it is sprinting, swimming, same thing, which means don't expect to be able to swim through the oceans if you're running low on hunger. Always bring food, or alternatively, because as you can see, there's always going to be some form of tropical fish around, always bring, like an opportunity to kill some food so you can get some for yourself. So I think I just picked some clownfish up right there, and now it's in my inventory. There we go. And now, as you can see, we eat our tropical fish, and we can get back up to sprinting distance. So yeah, pro tip, always bring a source of food, because you don't want to stop swimming in the middle of an ocean where, again, food is tricky enough to find as it is. You want to watch out for that. Oh, and also, last thing, this is a recent thing as of the beta. So if you, that's everything for the updated Quatic, but because you're going to be playing the newer version soon, if you swim into bubbles, the bubbles give you a huge effect. Seriously, look at this. I'm just swimming right forwards right now, and I go all of that distance forward. So the best thing to do if you want to keep going at top speed, I'm going to drown to death, is to go for one of these things. And also, keep an eye on your bubble meter. A lot of people make that mistake, like me just now, and you don't want to do that, so make sure you keep an eye on all those things. So that is how to swim like a pro in Minecraft. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Like if you liked it, share if you liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and make sure you turn on notifications so you see these videos daily on your homepage, because there's a bunch more tutorials I want to do over the coming days. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.